here. Hey, just going to do a quick follow-up video. Kind of let you guys know where I'm at with the GTV6 rebuild, refresh on the driveline. As you can see, the engine is still basically half put back together. The heads are still off at the specialist, and it's kind of a question mark when I'll see them back. I was expecting basically now, but with winter being the way it is and things happening the way they happen, it could be another few months before I get them back. So realistically, the car is not going to be on the road for summer. That and the transaxle is still off being rebuilt. That got pushed behind schedule. So, things are just kind of in a holding pattern. There's not a lot I can do right now other than just little things around the engine compartment, cleaning up wires, hoses. Up in one of those boxes there's a long box that has stainless steel exhaust system headers and exhaust that came in from Italy. So I've got those ready to put on the car. Whenever it's basically ready to start going back together. But right now it's going to be a little bit. So in the meantime, I'll just kind of keep compiling some parts and components, things I want to put on. The bumpers are off. The front and rear bumper, those are off. I'm having them lightened. So we're taking a lot of the material out of the factory American bumpers, the aluminum bumpers. So we're going to try to lighten them up, and they're going to go off and get powder coated. I'm having a new hood vent piece. You can see it up there. New hood vent piece, the gold part. It was black before. I'm doing a new version, and I'll have that soon, and that'll go off for powder coat. But, summer coming and not having a car to drive, that was kind of a bummer. So I decided to get this. So this is our brand new to us Alfa Romeo Spider. This was a local car. Came across it last week. Gentleman was selling it. Unfortunately, his wife had passed away about a year ago. This was her car. They owned this car from 1989 up until this last week when I bought it. So I've got a big binder full of records for everything that's been done to this car over the past 30 years, the service history, everything. So now all it needs is just to kind of be refreshed, given some love. They were an older couple, so they got to be where they were more and more limited to, number one, driving it, and number two, doing all the necessary love and care. So luckily I came along and found it, and I'd been thinking about getting a second Alfa, and this just kind of fell into my lap, and it was kind of just perfect timing because summer's almost here. It's a Spider, and it's an Alfa. So all the best things just kind of came together. Real quick, go around. I've already got some things taken out. The original interior is mostly, it's probably, I'd say it's a good 80%. It does need to be refreshed. The seat upholstery needs to be redone. So I'll redo that in winter because I plan on driving it this summer. I'm going to enjoy it. The carpets are in good shape. The dash is not cracked or anything. The car was garaged every night and every day since the previous owner bought it back. That was 30 years ago. The factory wood wheels in good shape. I have the tachometer is out, so the electronic tach, it wasn't working, and I chased the wiring and the fusing and stuff in it. It actually ended up being that it was the tach itself. So the tach is going off to Seattle speedometer to be rebuilt. So I'll have a rebuilt like new tach to go in place. All the other gauges work fine, but I guess the tachs on these cars can be a little finicky. So I took it out, sent it off. I should have that back in about a week, and we should be good to go. Other than that, the door cards are in good shape, but I will eventually reskin them probably when I do the seats. Like I said, the carpet overall is in good shape. Nothing a good shampoo, and I'm going to do some really nice aftermarket mats anyway. Some nice cocoa mats in tan. I think that'll really really make this look nice in here. I've got some new interior trim bits that I've ordered up to replace some of the old faded ones. Some things need to just be kind of gone through, freshened up. But I mean, overall, I've seen way worse interiors on cars, especially cars that are this old and original. It's original paint, original interior. It's just been serviced, oil changes, things like that. So other than that, it's just a good, honest car. It just needs some love. Come up front, you can see the factory 2-liter inline 4. All I've done to this engine bay is just wipe it down with some cleaner and a rag. I have not deep cleaned anything. I have not power washed anything. It just looks this nice after about 20 minutes of just wiping things down. Again, the car was garaged. It was never driven in rain and wet and snow and all that. It was really just babied. It was very literally the driven by the old lady only on weekends, only when it was sunny car. I mean, that's what they bought it for, and that's what they used it for. So it really was not abused. It was used, but not abused. So it's going to be a fun little car, I think. Eventually I'll respray the body. It does have 30 years, or in this case, 35 years worth of scratches, dings, chips, things like that. Things that do need to be addressed. And we'll get to those eventually. But again, I'm just going to kind of buff up the paint, give it a good buff, polish, and shine. Enjoy it throughout the summer. And then next winter, tear into it a little bit, maybe do the upholstery. And then maybe the year after that, do the paint. Just do it in stages. But again, it's meant to be driven. It's going to be a fun car. I don't want it to be a project to where it is off the road for a year or two. Like the GTV6 will be that car. It was intended to be off the road only for winter, but it's very likely it'll be a year before it's back on the road. And that's mostly just because I'm doing a lot with this car. It was originally supposed to be a clutch swap, and the clutch change has turned into a complete driveline rebuild, head rebuild, just everything. So, these things spiral out of control, and it happened. But unfortunately, this kind of fell into my lap, and I'm kind of happy that, number one, I have a wife that understands this obsession, and number two, that the opportunity came along to have this car, because it came along at the right time. It was the right price, and it was the right seller. And fortunately, the seller felt that I was the right buyer. So that all worked out. So not a bad garage for an Alfa fan. Nice GTV6 under construction, and basically a complete Spider that just needs a little love and attention, and it'll definitely get that here. So anyway, just kind of wanted to follow up, show you guys where we're at. We're in a holding pattern with this purely because a bunch of the components I need physically aren't here, and it may be months before I see them. So in the meantime, to cope with the struggle of having a GTV6 that is under construction, I'm going to have to just bear with having a little Spider for summer. So yeah, happy about that. So I'll follow up soon, let you guys know what we're doing, anything like that, any changes that are happening with these cars. But I'll do a little bit, I'll follow up and do a little bit with the Spider as I kind of progress through it, and kind of dig into it a little bit more as summer goes, and see what things we can improve upon and change and fix up in the immediate future, just to make it a better, a more presentable car, because it's a little rough around the edges, but it's a complete car, so we're happy about that. But that's all I got for now. Ciao, cheers, enjoy, see you later.